To say that there is a lot of uncertainty in our world right now is probably a gross understatement. Wars raging in Israel and Ukraine, a disturbing rise in anti-Semitism all around us, yet another mass shooting, this time at a Super Bowl parade in Kansas City, loved ones who face serious illness. It can all sometimes feel unbearable. I don't know about you, but I often find myself feeling gutted and tossed about like a boat that's lost its moorings. In the midst of all of this difficulty and chaos in our world and our lives today, how can we find ways to ground ourselves in this world of uncertainty? We find one answer in our Torah portion this week, Parshat Truma. In Parshat Truma, we read all about the details for the construction of the Mishkan, the mobile sanctuary in which the tablets with God's laws will reside. In the midst of the uncertainty of what will become 40 years of wandering through the desert, the Mishkan becomes the Israelites' focal point for God on earth, a concrete symbol of our faith that we can look at whenever we might feel doubt. In a couple of weeks, we read of another response to uncertainty, as the Israelites construct a golden calf while Moses is at the top of Mount Sinai receiving the law. Understanding the danger in worshiping things as gods, but recognizing the Israelites' need for something tangible and concrete to calm their fears and to direct their focus, God mandates the construction of an elaborate Mishkan with gold and silver and fine linens and, yes, dolphin skins. It was a project that engaged the entire community in building something sacred. Everyone whose heart moved them could give and give generously. In fact, it became such a powerful campaign that the artisans later had to tell the people to stop bringing gifts because they had had too much. But when instructing the Israelites to build the Mishkan, God tells the people, Asu li mikdash v'shochanti betocham. Make me a sanctuary that I might dwell among them. As much as the Israelites brought gifts to construct the Mishkan is in many ways a gift from God to the people. God is to dwell within and among the people, not limited to a specific place. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, picking up on this notion, teaches that Judaism is a religion of time, aiming at the sanctification of time rather than the sanctification of places. The rhythm of Jewish life teaches us to look at the blessings we have in our lives right now, to remain conscious of the concrete moments of certainty present in each day, each week, and each year. Jewish tradition recognizes this struggle to find concrete things to hold on to in our lives. If we look to our tradition, we can learn how to find reassurance even in our most uncertain times. As a people, our historical memory shapes our identity, and we collectively yearn for the fulfillment of redemption. But our liturgy, our rituals, and our calendar remind us to pay attention to the concrete things around us, preventing us from being consumed by the uncertainty of an unknowable future. The Talmud offers at least one daily routine for recognizing the concrete elements in our own lives. The rabbis teach that every morning, at the moment we wake up, we should thank God. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. God, the soul you have placed in me is pure. We begin each day and acknowledge that we are blessed to be able to begin. We begin from a place of gratitude. This text goes on to explain that there is a blessing that corresponds, in fact, to every action of awakening, for hearing the sounds around you, for opening your eyes, for putting on your clothes, for tying your shoes, for the ability to stand firmly on the ground, for all of the things that today, in that moment, are concrete. Our Reformed prayer books call this collection of blessings Nisim B'chol Yom, everyday miracles. And there are miracles around us every day, not just in our prayer books or in the places that we pray. The fact that we woke up, got out of bed this morning, and drove here in our cars is a tremendous blessing. It is miraculous. Our tradition recognizes the importance of finding opportunities to bring holiness into our lives, to take hold of the concrete moments that occur every day, moments of absolute certainty. While we cannot know what tomorrow may bring, we can celebrate the fact that we woke up this morning, that we are surrounded by family and friends. We give thanks for our bodies and our ability to move and feel and open our eyes for as long as we have them. Each day we say the same blessing as the day before, but we constantly change and evolve and grow, returning to the same rituals every day in new ways. As Heschel writes in the Sabbath, Judaism teaches us to be attached to holiness in time, to be attuned to sacred events, to learn how to consecrate sanctuaries that emerge from the magnificent stream of a year. The Sabbaths are our great cathedrals. As a great cathedral in time, Shabbat is a weekly marker of the passing of time. Shabbat reminds us to remain present. While Shabbat is said to offer a glimpse of the world to come, it is less about the distant future than the practice of regularly marking where we are at the end of each week. Shabbat can be the weekly moment of certainty that punctuates even the most uncertain times in our lives. On Shabbat, we can model the future as we'd like to see it while sitting around our Shabbat table. Before we light the candles, we can acknowledge the value of gathering together with family and friends. We can take a moment to offer blessings to our children, not based on their accomplishments or critical of their shortcomings, but blessing them for simply being. Before we sanctify the wine, we can go around our Shabbat table and share some of our accomplishments from the past week. Before we bless the challah, we can check in to see what is happening in the lives of our families and friends. The commandment to remember Shabbat and keep it holy gives us the gift of a concrete focal point, week in and week out. Every week, while our rituals remain the same, we continue to change. We have finished assignments, learned new things, met new people, visited new places. It is easy to get caught up in all of the uncertainty in our lives. But the rhythm of Jewish life gives us anchors of certainty throughout the year. The holidays on the Jewish calendar occur every year, and although we change from year to year, we are never in the same place twice. The holidays can be our anchor in time. We constantly evolve physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Shabbat always starts on Friday night and ends on Saturday night. But how we spend that day can change from week to week, from year to year. Shabbat can be our Mishkan, keeping us focused on that island of certainty from week to week, allowing us to move forward without drowning in a sea of uncertainty. The rhythm of Jewish life offers so many opportunities to look at the world around us, to look at the way we live our lives and the choices we make, to recognize the daily miracles in our lives while acknowledging our tasks at hand. Back to the Mishkan. The 13th century commentator Ramban, also known as Nachmanides, asserted that the Israelites weren't actually ready for the instructions for the tabernacle, the Mishkan, until after their encounter with God at Sinai. It was only after experiencing the holiness of the divine, face to face, says Ramban, that the Israelites were themselves holy enough for God's sanctuary to dwell among them. And the first thing God commands after the 10 Commandments was the tabernacle. As Ramban says, that there should be among them a house dedicated to God's name. And opening themselves up to the possibility of holiness, they became ready to carry with them a concrete symbol that would always remind them of God's and their holiness. V'asu li mikdash v'shochanti betocham. If you create space in your heart and in your lives to let holiness in, you too will be a vessel for bringing holiness into this world. Shabbat shalom.